Guys, we've had quite a few Mario games in the last few years, but this is the one we've really been waiting for. It's the first full 3D HD Mario and the true successor to the awesome Galaxy series.
As the game begins, we find Mario and his friends enjoying an evening stroll when they find a pipe that leads to the Sprixie Kingdom. And when a Sprixie princess appears, it's no surprise that Bowser isn't far behind, keen as ever for a bit of a royal kidnapping.
Yes, Bowser doesn't seem to be into Peach anymore. This is the third game in a row where he's completely ignored her.
Well, technically, New Super Luigi U is just a remake of New Super Mario U and it simply reused the same premise, so it arguably doesn't count.
If you want to get technical. There's actually a bit of gameplay reason behind Bowser's change of heart. This is the first time since Super Mario Bros. 2 you can also play as Princess Peach.
Just like in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, you can now take 4 characters into a game for a bit of cooperative play. There's of course Mario, while Luigi, Peach and Toad are all along for the ride as well.
This marks the first time there's ever been multiplayer in a 3D Mario game.
Well, technically you could play a kind of co-op in Mario Galaxy.
Oh, playing as a glorified cursor doesn't count, Hex.
They all have their own characteristics that we've come to know. Such as Luigi jumping higher but skidding more, while Peach can use her dress to float briefly. And it's definitely some of the most fun co-op going around. Things were always hectic when there were 4 of us playing at once, especially because points are on the line to get that coveted crown.
The game is laid out through a classic overworld map. Each level has 3 green stars to track down. Some are quite obvious, but a lot of them are fairly well hidden or tricky to get.
Yeah, and boss levels are locked away until you get enough green stars, so you'll need them to progress. But even though I missed out on quite a few stars, it wasn't until the very last 2 boss worlds that I actually found myself having to go back and hunt for more.
You may have noticed we're referencing a lot of old Mario games in this review, and that's mostly because this feels like a best-of compilation.
Yes, Mario games have been relying on that nostalgia for quite a while now, but this one felt like more of a celebration of Mario's greatest hits rather than a rehash.
Yeah, but there are still a few new features to keep it fresh. First of all, the new catsuit power-up is definitely the star of the power-up show. Almost every level throws them at you regularly. It's a pretty fun power, letting you unleash swipe attacks and an aerial pouncing attack. But more importantly, it lets you scramble a considerable distance up walls, essential for tracking down secrets and green stars.
As much as I love Cat, my favourite power-up was the double cherry, which creates clones. In some levels, if you play your cards carefully, you can get a whole bunch of clones going, and it's chaos. Especially if you're playing in co-op and you've all got clones, it goes completely bonkers.
What about the level design, Barjo? What do you think of that?
I thought they had good variety and they always threw something new at you. And there's such a range of power-ups that keep things fresh. Plus, some of those later levels get really challenging, which I liked. I admit though, I was tempted to take the easy way out and don the golden Tanuki suit on a few occasions.
You were rocking that Tanuki suit like all the time, Barjo. Noob detected, huh, Darren?
Affirmative, Hex.
Hey.
Too tough for Barjo.
It was pretty hard, right? My biggest complaint though is that some of these levels just feel so short. It's like they've taken the bite-sized level design from 3D Land and just used that as a template. And that was fine for a handheld Mario, but with this, I was expecting something much more substantial.
I know what you mean, but they were all really fun levels though, and I didn't mind the length. It just meant that I was always ready to jump into the next level.
In general, this felt like one of the shorter Mario games. You can get to the end after just a few sessions. However, there are plenty of extras to do after you finish the main game. Not to mention it'll take quite a while to track down every last star.
I was also surprised how little they used the gamepad. If there was a Wii U game that was going to use all the functionality of the gamepad, it should have been this one. There's a few special Toad levels where you have to use the pad to get Toad to collect a bunch of stars, but other than that, there's really only one level you need the pad for, and that's to pull blocks out and blow platforms around. But that was it.
Well, we should wrap this up, Barjo. Final thoughts?
Well, this is a lot of fun, but I don't think it's quite as good as the Galaxy games. Still, it's just wonderful seeing Mario in true 3D HD. I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Those Galaxy games are hard to top, but I just had so much fun with the co-op, and there's so much creativity in this game as well. I found it a joy to play, so I'm giving it 9.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo!